I seem to start every one of my videos fixing my hair because once I see myself in the viewfinder, I realize how absolutely haggard I look. It's July 28th-ish, I think, and I just posted on my Instagram a what I'm eating for the day at work post. I have been very vocal on this channel about how hard it has been for me to get my act together when it comes to diet. My workouts were easy to do, especially after the pandemic hit, because I was, I had the ball rolling and I was just so determined and motivated. And workouts are an easy thing for me to carve time out for, just because it's like a thing I can schedule one time a week. And I have a start and I have a finish and I have my general plan or routine scripted. And it's so easy. If I'm gonna dedicate any time for myself at all, workouts are easy for me to make a scheduled priority. Diet was not, for me, especially being the crazy control freak type of person I am. I always want to have everything under control. This many percentage of my calories to come from carbs, and this many percentage of my calories to come from fat, and this many to come from protein. Every single food item, and I'd have to measure it, and then I'd have to look and see, okay, well, according to the nutrition facts. Totally unsustainable. I was able to do that when I was a single person without kids, living my own life on my own out in LA, and I had all the time in the world to do those kinds of things. But right now, and probably for the rest of my life, it is completely unsustainable. And not to mention, it was easy for me when I was a single person without kids to eat the same stuff every day for weeks, sometimes even months. That was fine. I personally don't need variety. I just find foods that I like and I'm able to eat them for ever. But now I have my picky 3-year-old to think about, and then the baby who's always hungry, just like his father, who, and they have so many different food requirements. Everybody seems to need sauce on their food in order to eat it. I don't need sauce. I was able to just eat food plain, but that's just me. So it added an extra level of complexity if I wanted to eat something entirely different from my family, because not only would I be prepping my own meals, but then I'm still having to cook and prep for the rest of my family. And then you just add on the pandemic and everything else going on in life, and I was overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed with all the things going on. And it's so easy to look back now and understand why I couldn't get my shit together. And I don't even like to say that I couldn't get my shit together, because I had it together as best I could. Even when I did have to take a break in, was it May? I needed that for my mental sanity. And I was at that point prioritizing sleep and prioritizing mental health. And those are things that need to be factored into this equation of a healthy, sustainable lifestyle that promotes weight loss and muscle gain and this and that and whatever. I'm not just I don't just have an athletic goal. I did have sort of some qualitative physical goals. I did want to get underneath 70 kilos, so I did have a couple quant goals. But for the most part, it was I wanted to feel like myself again. I wanted to fit back into all my old clothes. I wanted to have that passion for fitness and that routine and that lifestyle back, and have a healthy diet and just feel like I have control over my life again. That's what I really needed this year. And 2020 has been the antithesis of control or predictability or getting any kind of routine or semblance of normalcy back. It took me a long time to really get my nutrition plan in place. And I did get it done in June. So it's now been 2 weeks that my husband and I have been more or less eating a very healthy diet. We still have had our days of pizza and our days of McDonald's, or treating ourselves out occasionally. We are up to our eyeballs in painting our house and all of the properties on our land. We have a farm we're taking care of. We still have 2 toddlers. We have 0 help. We have nobody. We live in the middle of nowhere. We don't have any family near us at all. We're doing this all by ourselves, and it's always been all by ourselves. So, and that's all we've ever known. So I can't say it like feels any more different now versus later. I imagine that people who are living like a quarantine life right now find the isolation just completely suffocating and not having help. If it's like a sharp contrast to what they normally had prior to quarantine and pandemic and everything. But for us, the whole like social distancing, quarantine, lockdown lifestyle has not affected us at all because we still live totally isolated and rurally, and we don't have any help. So it's just a lot of things. It's a lot of things to do and to manage, but we're getting it done. So I just thought I would share what I'm eating in a day right now. I find it to be delicious, which is the most important thing, right? It satisfies me. It satiates me. It is very sustainable and easy for me to prep every day. It's fresh. I'm getting a ton of raw fruits and veggies and everything like that in my diet. And really, it's besides my salad and dinners, which I'll get into dinners in a bit, it's mostly a la carte. Like I'm just grabbing raw foods or things that are like lightly processed or whatever. And that makes eating a lot easier because I'm not having to do much prep, right? So let's just get started. I, for breakfast, have been having just muesli, right? And this one I particularly love. You can get muesli anywhere. This is the fruit and berry kind, and it's without added sugar. Sometimes if I'm feeling like really snazzy, I'll cut up some banana or put in some extra raisins or fresh fruit and berries into it just to give it a little more flavor. But honestly, like I just love it as is. It's no cooking required. And then I have a giant cup of coffee. So that tides me over for several hours, to be honest. And then mid-morning, before I have lunch, I have a red bell pepper and hummus. I am obsessed with red bell peppers. I just eat them like apples. I could seriously eat 4 or 5 of these a day. And I also learned that these have a crap ton of vitamin C in them. So it's the salad I eat every day, and it's the only thing I actually like meal prep, and I do make it fresh every evening so that the next morning I can just grab it and go. I make my husband and I both one, each night. I'm sure I could probably make these in batches so that they last me a couple days, but I just personally think spinach and like cut up foods like carrots and stuff like that, it doesn't really keep all that well. So I do this on a daily basis, but this is the salad I make for myself. Here I have spinach, Romantica or Romantico tomatoes. I have an orange bell pepper, but usually I'll have like a yellow bell pepper cut up. And then I have cucumber mixed in there somewhere. And then onto it, I add 1.5 eggs. And then I have raisins, banana peppers. They're also called pepperoncinis. I have sun-dried tomatoes, and then I have cubed Gouda. And then here is just, like I've talked about this for years now, my favorite salad dressing is this Ken's Italian dressing. I just love the vinegariness of it. I personally think the best part of this salad is the raisins because I love the combination of like a little bit of sweet and the bite of the vinegar. So good. For a mid-afternoon snack, I have a banana and peanut butter. I just grab them, the whole jar of peanut butter and my banana, throw them in my bag, and a cup of tea because I think that combination is delightful. And then for dinner, usually, so we're mostly like a pescatarian family because my 3-year-old won't eat really anything else besides fish. And so we usually have either cod or salmon, and then we have broccoli, peas, or cauliflower, and then usually rice, but our potatoes are done, so we've just been picking fresh potatoes out of the earth and eating those, and like some sort of sauce. My kids love hollandaise sauce, so usually we make a hollandaise, and that's what we have for dinner. But we had a bunch of ground moose meat in our deep freezer that needed to be eaten. We buy a bunch of locally hunted meat each year, so that we have like boar and moose and sometimes some fresh, like locally butchered cow meat. And like this moose meat needed to be eaten, and it would have been a shame to let it go to waste. So I made this delicious cottage pie. And the thing I love about this recipe, and I'll put the link to the recipe I use down below. I modify it slightly, but it doesn't matter. But the thing I love about it is that it freezes really well. So that has been a super win. And that's what we're having for dinners this week. And then if I need any kind of evening snack before I go to bed, I make celery and peanut butter. And funny story, here's an expat story for you guys. If you want to absolutely repulse a Swede, offer them peanut butter and celery. It's like they think it is the strangest, most grotesque food combination ever. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, it actually is really strange. Like if you try to take away the normalcy, I grew up on celery and peanut butter, so it's something that's very normal for me. But if you actually like think about it, it's a really strange food combination. And I've had my in-laws taste it, and I have the funniest picture. If I can find it, I'll pop it up over here. I have a picture of my mother-in-law and father-in-law tasting it for the first time, and they're just like, it's so funny. And I love it. I think it's great. So yeah, that is what I'm eating in a day, and it's so easy. Like it takes me, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to freshly like cut up and prepare the salads in the evening, but it's such a routine because I've been doing it for so long now. And then of course with dinners, we either cook fresh each night, or at least in terms of this week, I make one dish that will last us the whole week. So that's my diet. I'm very happy with it. And then I'll just take a couple seconds now to talk about what I'm doing with fitness. Y'all, I actually have diet and fitness going at the same time right now, and I can't even tell you how happy I am. I'm so proud of myself. I feel so accomplished, and I feel very, very, I don't know, I just feel proud of myself that I was able to pull myself up by the bootstraps and manage to get my motivation restarted, because it has been such a hard year. And especially for me, being like the control freak that I am, I had my whole freaking plan scripted on January 1. And when Corona came and it dashed my dreams, and I slowly, over the course of several months, realized that I was not going to be able to return to the gym, it crushed me. I just could not keep up with the home workouts. They just kill me. And that's like a whole nother episode for this channel of mine come this fall/winter. I'm going to have to do home workouts again. So that's like a whole nother series. But right now it's summer. And even though it's been raining every single day this month, pretty much, I have taken up running. I'm only on my second week, so it's not like I've been doing this the whole month. And I have not weighed myself before. I have not taken my measurements since when? April? I haven't measured my body or weighed myself since April, and it's now the end of July. So I'm sure in retrospect, I will wish that I had done all of that before I kind of restarted my diet and exercise thing. But I cannot cope with micromanaging this journey I'm on. It completely overwhelms me. So this is what I find to be manageable and sustainable, and that is to just not do measurements. I will do them eventually. I promise you guys, I will get on camera and do them again eventually. But right now, I just don't need that pressure, and I don't need that stress, and I don't find it motivating. That's the whole thing. Before, it was very motivating for me. I was so excited. I wanted to like lift extra heavy or it just like powered my sprints when I would do cardio that much more. But it stopped being motivating, and it became this massive burden for me. And that's when it needed to stop. So just real talk, that's where I'm at right now with my measurements and my stats and stuff. But I am on, like I said, week 2, and my plan last week was not really a plan. It was sort of just I had a coming to Jesus moment where I was like, I've got to do something. I have accepted that I'm not going to step foot in a gym for at least the rest of this year, and probably not until next summer. I have come to the conclusion that I just cannot simply do home workouts right now. I'm not motivated enough to get in there. The thought of doing a home workout was just, I was coming up with any excuse in the book to not do it. So that clearly was not working for me. And one thing I've always believed is that fitness has to be fun. This cannot be something that I am just forcing. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it and I'm going to be miserable. This needs to be something that is a lifestyle and is something that brings quality of life back to me. And forcing myself to do something where I am miserable and I feel like I'm failing, even though I'm like doing hard work, and it's just mental anguish for me, it doesn't provide anything quality of life wise for me. So I decided, okay, I have 2 feet that work, I have 2 legs that work, I have a body that works, and what is something that I can do that's outdoors and safe in terms of like pandemic, and that I can set realistic goals for and will make me really feel like I'm kicking my ass, even though I'm only doing like 30 minutes a day. What could that be? Running. Running is the answer. So personally, I absolutely abhor running. I hate it. I do not have the mental fortitude to be a runner. I am way too ADD. I feel like running is super slow. And because I'm not like on a treadmill, I'm actually out in the world, I'm very acutely aware of just how far I need to go before I can be done. And it just mentally kills me. Like when I'm lifting, I know I just have to do this 1 set, just 3 sets and I'm done. Okay, that is done. Let's move on to the next thing. It just feels so much more manageable. But with running, you're doing the same thing and it's such a slow pace and you get into your head and oh my God, when is this going to be over? And it's so mental for me. I do believe that eventually I'll get to a point where I actually enjoy running in and of itself. I see people on Instagram lamenting when they have injuries and they can't run anymore. And I see them despair over not being able to run the same way I despair over not being able to go to the gym. And that, in a strange way, really motivates me into thinking that I might actually get myself conditioned to a point where I get good at running and I start to enjoy it as a hobby and something I just really love and need every day, the same way I felt about the gym, the same way I felt about volleyball before I left California, the same way I felt about soccer before I destroyed my knees and made the transition to volleyball. I've had to athletically redefine myself so many times in my life that this is not the end of the world for me. I kind of see it now as the next chapter in my life. And oh my God, like I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. And I sort of just woke up one day and decided this was what I was going to do. I didn't think about it. I just said, I think I'm going to become a runner. And then I just did it. I had my first run in the pouring rain. I was in all the wrong gear. I was wearing hiking shoes because they were the only waterproof shoes I had. I was in a full-on rain jacket, which waterproof jackets really suffocate you when you're sweating. But I did it. So this video is getting really, really long. I just want to document real quick what my plans are. And when I say plans, I mean I only plan 1 week at a time. Because if anything this year has taught me, it's that to have plans is to just welcome the sky falling on you. Because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Who knows? That's 2020 for you. So last week, my goal was to just run what we call the rundan, which is just the round. It's a loop trail I have just in my backyard. I've been using Runkeeper. I have not even been using my Fitbit. I had got to find it because I think that would be a lot of fun to track those stats also. That's something I'm going to do. But I've been using Runkeeper and it's a 4.66 kilometer run. I've not been focusing on my time. I have been pacing my pace to my breathing. So I always keep my breathing to a manageable exertion. Otherwise I'll get really bad side aches. So I have been doing the 4.66 kilometer run every other day last week. So I did it 3 times. I did it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And like, ironically, my per kilometer pace stayed exactly the same within just a second or so. So I've been consistent. And then this week, my goal was to get the mileage up to 5 kilometers. So yesterday was my first run this week. And the route I did actually turned out to be 5.15 kilometers. So just for the sake of being able to compare each of my weekly runs, I will probably stick to that route and just do a 5.15 kilometer run Monday, which was yesterday, Wednesday, which is tomorrow, Friday. And then, like, that's just my goal. Like, I don't care about increasing my pace or getting a better time right now. I'm still very sore. I end my runs so sore in my calves. My hips bother me. Like, my postpartum body is just like, my hips are different. I'm carrying a lot of weight in different places still. My joints and those little muscles are just not defined. They're not used to this kind of exercise. And so I need to be slow and methodical about this to get my body up to speed with the challenge. But I guess thinking just a tiny bit ahead, next week, I think I'm gonna stick with the same mileage and just change my route. Because this week I'm doing the rundan again, and then I'm just adding a little annex to get my mileage up. So I think next week I will do a route that's approximately the same mileage, but is just a different route to keep things mixed up. That is all the planning I am doing. I'll just wait and see what happens after that. But my hope is that I can keep this up for the next several months until the weather starts to change and it starts to get too dark at night. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I will try to do daytime runs. I know I'm gonna lose my job eventually because our company is selling. I don't know when it's gonna happen. My contract ends at the end of August, and then I think I'll just be taking on freelance. But starting September, I'm gonna be starting my svenska som andra språk classes again, which is just my Swedish language classes. And I think I'm gonna do that for a couple months and then start looking for a job next spring. Hopefully once this pandemic thing is over with and my language skills are more up to speed to find a job that's actually spoken in Swedish, because right now my job is in English. And in which case I'll have the daytime to be able to go for runs, so at least I'll have daylight. I do need to invest in some more gear that's like breathable but warm, because shit, you guys, it's August almost already. Like, it's gonna be fall and then winter soon. But I should be able to get to October before weather becomes a serious issue. So that's my hope, is just to get to the fall and then see where this running takes me. If anything, the running, which is so easy to plan because it's only a half hour right now, takes me 31 minutes to run my run. That's easy to factor into my schedule without like being a burden to my family. So between my diet and the running, that's what I'm doing for now, and hopefully I'll get the ball rolling, and maybe doing home workouts won't be so dramatic anymore. I am totally rambling, so I'm gonna end this video, but thank you for watching, you guys. Check me out on Instagram if you want like the Cliff Notes version of whatever the hell I talk about in these videos, because I say pretty much the same shit. Otherwise, I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.